they're definitely not cops.
Well, don't worry. They can't get at us in here.
Welcome to the Regular Menthol Podcast, where we discuss Kino movies. My name is Tate. My co-host here is Chris.
Hello, folks.
We give our thoughts on the movie, our experience with it, and we discuss specific scenes that we like, followed up with our very own Kino rating. Today we're discussing 1983 cult classic BMX Bandits, starring Nicole Kidman, James Lugton, and John Light. King, how are you today? Talk to me.
Good, man. Good. What's going on? I don't even know what's going on in the world right now. What's the latest news in the universe out there?
I don't know.
What's the
dude.
latest?
You know how I'm usually up on this
Bickering.
stuff?
You checked out.
Yeah, I really
You
have.
finally checked out.
I find that I'm just doing too much stuff that I just don't have enough time to care.
Love it. Love it.
You know what I mean?
That's the way to be, dude. I think that's the play, actually. That's the final play.
If you can just tune out to everything and just work on stuff, I think it's way better, because the alternative is me going crazy. Speaking of crazy, I'll tell you one thing that I do at the gym lately that's been helping me with this staying on task is just when I go at the end of my workout, I'll just go on the treadmill for 10 minutes and just do a brisk walk. And it's a Life Fitness brand. And I just focus on the F in fitness. And
This is completely insane.
I just look at the F for 10 minutes straight and don't deviate thoughts at all.
That's alarming, but I love it.
So I just focus on the F and I just look at it for 10 minutes straight, and I just try not to think of anything else. And I'm so focused and dialed in for 10 minutes. It's retraining my brain.
This is what the kids call locked in.
Yeah.
A generational lock-in is what you're doing.
Yeah, they talk about it.
And what are you doing? Why are you doing this?
Why?
What is this exercise?
I don't even know what you would call it. I just kind of like sit on the treadmill and just look at the F.
Oh, it's a treadmill. I didn't hear that part.
Yeah.
I didn't hear that.
I'm just doing a brisk walk on a treadmill, looking at this letter F on the screen in front of me and just not deviating my sight or thoughts from that.
Yeah. So you're hitting cardio nowadays.
Kind of. I kind of just started doing walking after I hurt my back. So
Smart.
Kind of just, I don't know. I feel like if I walk more, it doesn't tighten up.
Dude, I got these young guys at the new job, and they're like all about fitness and hiking and all this shit. So they just like press me to run with them.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I feel obligated. So I'm like, all right, fine. It's like kind of works out. Now I'm like running like a mile with them.
Mm-hmm.
And I got to pick it up to 2 miles, and I hit 3 miles. I'm like, you know what? This is probably for the better.
Did you ever ask them where they're running to? Hey, where we got?
But dude, to your point about staying on task, dude. This is the answer, man. It's just like, don't have any spare time to look into this stupid shit. Keep yourself busy, being productive, and this is the way, folks.
That's how we get ahead. That's how we get ahead. That's how we beat them.
We beat them. The system. All right, tell me about this movie. BMX Bandits. This is your movie.
A group of teenage BMX bikers realize they need a local BMX track after being stymied by the local police for riding around their town. As luck would have it, the three teens, Goose, PJ, and Judy, stumble upon a box of walkie-talkies stashed away by a gang of bank robbers. When the crooks realize the kids have their equipment, which they need to coordinate an upcoming heist, the trio find themselves pursued through the streets, beaches, and suburbs of Australia. After finally foiling the criminals, the kids get the reward money to have a new track built for everybody so they can ride all day and night.
Yes. This is the dream of every kid who has a BMX bike.
Yeah.
Relatable. This is your movie.
Yeah, I'm a big BMX guy. Let's just say that right off the bat. Very nostalgic.
Yeah, dude. Kind of wild. This movie's shot in 1983, but it's like early enough. If you notice in the first scene, they're still wearing bell bottoms.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like kind of, I don't know, it's like the era before we grew up on, right? So we were more like grunge skateboarders, BMXers, kind of bizarre for me, but like I love that they have these incredible diamond back and mongoose bikes. Did you see like the brand? There's a lot of brand placement in this. Did you notice that?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
In this movie?
Those are the big names
like,
of BMX back then.
Oh yeah, dude. What's the big names now? Do you know?
I'm not sure. It's an interesting question. I haven't looked into BMX or anything in that nature in probably like 20 years or something. It used to
But this takes me back to like my early years of skateboarding.
Yeah.
I'm like, dude, this is it. Like kind of like we did Gleaming the Cube, which is kind of my movie growing up. But one thing I will say that this is filmed in Sydney, Australia. It was originally supposed to be Melbourne, but they changed it to Sydney because they're like, all right, we can get a lot more locations here. But people don't realize that this was like kind of the Mecca, Australia, for extreme sports. I don't know about nowadays, but skateboarding, BMX, surfing, all that shit. And like I mentioned this when we were talking about Gleaming the Cube, but the Pappas brothers were Australian. Now, folks, if you get a chance, watch the documentary, All This Mayhem. Tass and Ben Pappas, they were in the early years when Tony Hawk was doing vert and winning all the competitions. They came out of nowhere. And these two dudes had like balls, man. They would just go for it. Anyway, long story short, they crashed out and they got into drugs. The one brother died. And the dude, the skinny guy who plays the police constable, the guy who's trying to bone the chick.
Yeah.
If you notice, she's like biting on his ear or whatever. He looks exactly like Tass Pappas. It's incredible. He just got this Australian look to him. It's like, okay, he's Australian.
He's the Australian phenotype.
Go check it out.
Yeah.
The Australian phenotype. Incredible. But I was thinking about this. I'm like, I watched this opening scene and they're doing this bank robbery. And I'm thinking to myself, on a long enough timeline, are we just going to cover every bank robbery movie literally with masks? I mean, we did Point Break. We're doing this. We got Heat coming up, Place Beyond the Pines. And I'm thinking to myself, like, what's so therapeutic about bank robberies?
Well,
that we love.
Yeah, that's a great question. I love bank robberies. And we also did The Town. The appeal is the affirmation of life. That you're in this system and these people are going outside the system to survive. They're doing something outside the system. Bodhi in Point Break, it's a killer rush, right? Would you agree with me that banks are the enemy?
I would say so. Yeah.
I mean, you get a little bit, when you're watching this, it's a little bit of wish fulfillment. Like, I could be the guy that's a rebel. I'm going to inject a little Robin Hood philosophy into my day with watching this bank robbery movie, you know?
Banks charging compound interest. 7% loans.
That's hitting you every day. That's hitting you every month, King.
That's for the people. They're doing that for the people, right?
Hey, that's how you can afford a house. Otherwise, you wouldn't be able to. You can't buy a house straight cash.
Dude, do you remember this game that I sent you? Steam Hotline Miami.
Sure do.
Yeah. Okay. Did they get the inspiration wearing these masks in the robbery from Hotline Miami? Because in the game, it's all different types of animal masks that they wear, and they do like these crazy robberies. Did you catch that? Were you thinking about that? The Gotta save the girl. Hotline Miami.
The reach of BMX Bandits, you never know.
It's the genesis of BMX Bandits.
You never know who's a fan.
Yeah. One other thing I would say, not much to say about the soundtrack to this movie, except for the fact that it's absolutely incredible. It's like, even the middle of a scene, when it's not even words, it's just the instrumental.
Yeah.
I could just put that in a soundtrack, and which I do. I listen to synthwave, and it's like, I could just listen to this all day long.
Every character has their own theme song in this movie too. Did you notice that?
Yeah.
Even the fat kid who has his own fat kid theme song, and it's exactly what you think it would sound like.
It's so good.
And this movie came out in 1983, the year of my actual birth, if you can believe it. Yeah.
Dating yourself.
The people, 80s vibe of this movie, it's a little bit before my time, but not by much. Like, I was into BMX when I was extremely young, like 3 years old.
Yeah, because you had an older brother, right? You had older siblings.
Yeah,
so you
but
get into that shit
it was
early.
It's true, but it was more like just something organically happened, where I got a bike when I was really young, and I don't know if you've ever seen the images of, a dad pushing the back of the bike, and a kid, just keep going, kid, just keep going. Like,
I'm currently doing that.
I just took to it immediately. Like, it took one push, and I was just off, right? And anyway, I had like a Huffy Dirt Dog like when I was 3,
Nice.
dog.
Hmm.
And then
So, in addition to axe throwing, you're the best axe thrower of all time and fastest bike rider learner of all time.
probably, like
Those are your claims to fame.
I saw riding a bike as an escape, kind of. I can get
There you go.
with a bike, you can go anywhere. Right.
With a bike, you can go anywhere.
And then in 1994, I got a dyno comp.
Yeah, dude. Dinos are the shit. I remember specifically.
I had that purple dyno. It was so sick, dude. And I got pretty good with doing tricks and everything. Like I would just ride for hours during the summer. And I lived on a cul-de-sac. And I would just sit for hours just doing tricks in my little circle and everything. Wound up going to doing actual BMX races in Bensayon.
No shit.
Oh yeah, dude. It was incredible. It was exactly like it is in this movie. And I think they got rid of that track because it was right where you get off the turnpike, right at Route 1.
Yeah.
But, I just thoroughly enjoyed BMX.
We were big into skateboarding, as I mentioned before, and we had those dyno bikes. Like, we even put what are those, pegs on them and shit?
Yeah.
But I guess you could constitute me as a poser because, I had all the bike stuff, but I definitely couldn't do the tricks. Like, biking, that was like the one thing I couldn't do. Like, even just like doing like a jump on a bike, I could not do. I never really tried too much because, again, we were just so big into skateboarding, but yeah, BMX is not my thing.
I think you kind of just pick one and run with it because if you remember,
pretty much
when you were doing tricks for skateboarding and like, for BMX and everything, I just remember learning to jump and it took me so long to learn how to do that. And then once I figured it out, it clicked and I could just do it forever. And I imagine it's the same thing as skateboarding with doing an ollie or whatever, right?
Well, it's the exact same thing because all you're doing is pulling up your handlebars first, and then you have to pull your ass up and pull the back end kind of thing with the same with an ollie. You kick with your back foot, lift your front foot up, and then pull your back foot back up.
Right.
Same thing.
And it was like, once you learn that, then everything unlocks and you're like, oh, I get it now. And you can just do everything. Right?
Yeah, for sure.
Your first time watching this movie, tell me about that.
Well, I guess today. I mean, I saw this when I was a kid with all these like cool, because we were, again, all into skateboarding movies, BMX, all that stuff, dirt bike movies especially. Dirt Bike Kid, dude. You gotta watch that movie. Anyhow, I saw it. I've seen clips of it. I've heard you talk about it. But yeah, I would say today was the first day I was locked in, watch this movie, start to finish. Yourself?
This might have been the first movie I've ever seen.
Really?
Yeah.
It's alarming.
I have this core memory of my neighbor, Albert. His dad came down.
Albert Reacts. His dad came down to my house, and I don't really remember the context of what was going on because this never happened before. And since, like, he never would come down, but he came down and was like at the front door, and he says something along the lines of like to my dad, like, "Hey, by the way, BMX Bandits is on HBO or whatever at this time." And I was like, "Yes, good call." And my dad recorded it off HBO, nice. And I might have watched this maybe 100 times. It was off some home VHS. Yes, so powerful. That rules.
Incredible. So an incredible nostalgia for me. Like I'm watching it earlier, and it's just like it hit. I haven't seen
core memory unlocked.
Yeah, core memory unlocked. I haven't seen it in a while, and it just hits you so hard. Like,
oh yeah,
I'm like, oh yeah. Damn, I remember this. Yeah,
literally me character of this movie. Who do you got? Who's you? Who's literally you?
I guess I'm literally Goose in this movie, which would make you PJ, of course.
Yeah, I guess we could go with that. I guess I make a good PJ. You make a good Goose tandem.
PJ is more of the Chad. Like Goose is the dude talking about insane shit throughout the whole movie.
Pretty much, dude. But I do love that the fact that they have this chick who's tagging along and they're not simping for her. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They're just a couple of buds in it for the lifestyle of BMXing.
They're in it for the love of the game. Absolutely.
Goose kind of does a little bit. He kisses her. It's like a weird kiss scene. It's like super awkward they're in the grave or whatever.
But it's and then it goes so quick, and then they don't even reference it and don't care about it the rest of the movie.
Yeah, it's so crazy. Literally, it's just like an afterthought. So let's get into some of these fun facts here. This movie was shot over, this kind of surprised me, shot over a period of 41 days. Now, for me, I say this all the time, but this is longer than usual because a move brought about by labor restrictions that was placed when working with minors at the time in 1983 Australia. But think about that, dude. 41 days to get all these shots. Rather impressive. Like, I always say it's about 2 to 3 months if you're going to shoot a full-length movie. This is an hour and a half. With all the different exteriors they have, and they're not crazy scenes, but it's a lot of action. It's pretty impressive. And dealing with kid actors, all like 16, 17, 41 days that's good.
That's wild. There's so many scenes, so many action shots, so many different camera angles that they're using.
Oh, yeah.
That's incredible to think about.
Yeah, that's impressive.
We discuss all the time these crazy names of these characters in these movies, right? And I feel like, in Australia, it's the opposite. It's not the character names that are crazy. It's the actors that play them have
the
crazy
actor
names.
Dude, there's a guy. Are you going to say Angelo D'Angelo?
I sure am. PJ. PJ is played by a guy.
Up, man.
Angelo
D'Angelo.
Dude, that is insane. Like, imagine your last name. You're a dad, right? Your last name is D'Angelo, and you're like, what do I name my son?
That's easy. Angelo. Chris to Chris. I'm going to go back Chris to Chris from now. No, that's just a pretty Australian thing, man. But anyway, I was talking a little about the impressive nature of shooting this in 41 days. Director Brian Trenchard-Smith. Are you familiar with this guy?
Vaguely. I looked into him before watching this movie and for the podcast and everything, and he has just such an impressive resume.
They loved him to direct this movie. Someone else was slated apparently, and they brought him in after the fact. He did this movie Turkey Call, and they were so impressed with that they brought him in on it. But anyhow, he said he thought Nicole Kidman was a knockout when she auditioned. There was another actor, a girl who was intended for the role, but she backed out. So they auditioned her with a bunch of other girls. I think they said there was like 200 or 300 girls that auditioned for this main role. And he said that she had a very good grasp of comedy timing. The producer didn't want to cast her initially because she was much taller than the boys. Trenchard told him, "What does that matter?" She was written as the tag-along girl, but he suddenly decided to put her in the foreground as much as possible because she had tremendous presence. And I got to agree here, man. Her timing as a 16-year-old is really impressive. And it's like, this is like a super over-the-top kind of goofy movie, you know what I mean? So, it's the bad guys with these goof types. I think I even read that it was supposed to be a serious role or a serious movie, but they were like, okay, the intended audience is parents and kids. So we can't have these bad guys literally killing these kids because it was intended to be they were going to like threaten them and like beat them up or whatever.
Yeah.
But like, okay, we can't really make money at the box office, which I believe I read this was like the 5th highest grossing movie at the time. So they had to kind of switch it up and like make the two bad guys, the main bad guys, kind of goofy and idiots. So, but yeah, power to her, man. Great timing. I think she kind of kills it in this, Nicole Kidman. I think it was 15 years old when she shot this, but she plays like a 16-year-old. So very impressive.
This is Nicole Kidman's like first movie. Nicole Kidman, young Nicole Kidman, and you're right. She does have like really good timing and everything, especially at the end when she's in the car with the bad guys, and she just rips into this story.
All right,
it's really good, and she is kind of tall. She's 5'11". And you can really tell.
Is she?
Yeah, when they go into the police station, you can tell she just mogs these two dudes. It's alarming.
Yeah, dude. 16-year-old chick mogging. So, and then another thing was Nicole Kidman sprained her ankle after jumping into the open grave. Yeah, the grave scene was kind of weird. Like I said, that whole graveyard scene, I thought was just, we'll get into it, was just way too long and just kind of weird, but very bizarre. Probably my only real hard critique of this movie was just how long that scene lasted and just kind of unnecessary. Anyhow, it reminds me of this story, quick story time, short film that I shot years ago with our buddy Ryan. It was a period piece and I was one of 3 Confederate soldiers on the run. So we get to set one day and they have these 3 giant horses, right? And they're supposed to be the Union soldiers are riding these things. And I'm like, scared shitless. I'm like, wait, we get to ride those? Well, of course we're on the run, so we don't have horses. And I'm like, oh God, thank God. So they had to semi-tranquilize these things in order to get them to like not freak out. So these dudes get on these horses, right? And the one is like, honest to God, as tall as I am on his shoulders. I'm 6'3". That one was completely normal. This other one started freaking out and like bucked this kid off.
Oh my God.
Bro, he absolutely had a concussion because he showed up. He was like trying to play it off. He's like, no, I'm good. Shows up the next day with like raccoon eyes.
Oh my God.
And I'm like, bro, are you good? It was gnarly, man. So, but my point is this happens a lot, man. People don't realize people getting hurt on sets, even like big movie sets nowadays. Like you can get jacked up if you're doing your own stunts kind of thing.
And a grave is,
be cautious.
It's not a small hole. That's a big hole.
6 feet.
Yeah.
So anyhow, get into some of these keynote scenes, talk about this movie. Absolute god tier intro here. I don't know if you call it that. You get these like nice vibrant colors, these close-up shots of them putting on their pads and gloves. You got that killer 80s song, I'm Ready to Fly, playing in the background.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm thinking to myself, like, again, this is like my proper introduction to this movie. And these camera angles, bro, that he gets throughout this movie. And I'm probably going to talk about this a lot because for me, that's the shining factor of this entire film is these shots from like underneath looking up at their feet and the pedals, and like you got the blue sky in the background with this music playing. I'm just like these vibrant colors. I'm like, this is it right here. Take me back. Like, let's bring this back to society. How do we do this?
Yeah, the cinematography is actually really wild. Like you could tell they really put a lot of thought into how to present
a lot
BMX to people. And how do I give the viewer the actual experience of riding on a bike?
Right.
Via the big screen, via these camera shots. And they just excel at what they did there.
Dude.
Really phenomenal.
Very, very well done. Yep. I never knew Nicole Kidman was Australian until today. Did you know this?
Yeah.
Yeah. So talk about her career for a second, dude. This chick, super big resurgence late in the game. If you notice, she's been in pretty much everything. A lot of TV shows. I can't remember the one. Something Little Secrets or something, I believe it was. My wife made me watch. And actually, she kills it, man. She is a good actress. Her timing is very good, like we mentioned. Her reactionary acting is just absolutely incredible. She just gets better and better. Mm-hmm. But I have to ask, as I always do, is she hot?
Yeah, absolutely.
Maybe not here because she's 16 years old, but is she hot in real life?
Yeah, I think so. And I'll give you an example. Her in Batman.
There you go. Yeah, fair enough. Yeah. What year was that?
It was in like 95 or something. But like her in Batman, her in Eyes Wide Shut. Do you think she's hot in Eyes Wide Shut as Tom Cruise's wife?
Yeah. I totally forgot that. She's Tom Cruise's wife.
It's an interesting thing because
talk about mogging, bro.
You have someone with such a long track record. Geez, talk about her mogging dudes. Well, how tall is Tom Cruise, right?
5'4".
She was
5'3".
But she has such
how tall is Tom Cruise anyway?
I want to believe he's 5'7", right?
Yeah. 5'7". You're right. Yeah. So, anyhow.
If you think she's got such a long track record, a long career, so can you really judge whether she's hot or not by this movie in the beginning of her career when she's like a tiny kid?
Right.
You have to do the whole track record.
Yeah. She got this little shithead that's bothering Judy, right? At the beginning. He's credited in the actual movie credits as Fat Kid.
Mm-hmm.
That's his character name, right? Now, we don't have to go down this rabbit hole, or we can. But compared to today's standards, this kid isn't even really fat.
Right.
When you think about it. Like, there is an actual fat kid in this movie. The way you do, like, the water park. And it shows him, like, close up. And he's the kid that pushes mustache down the slide.
Uh-huh.
That kid's fat. This kid isn't fat. Anyway, so he pushes the carts, and Goose, you can see clearly in the frame beforehand, he grabs his handbrake and seemingly stops. But then they do this close-up, and he flips and eats shit over the top of these shopping carts. And I'm just watching this. This is like completely insane. And then, again, like you mentioned, like not even an afterthought. His bike is broken, and he has to fix it. But it's just such an awkward shot.
it's like a clean cut where the dude's
Right. It's
braking
weird.
and then he's flying over the shopping carts, and it's quite an extreme jump. It's quite an extreme him flying over that.
I'm thinking to myself, why don't they just reshoot this?
Well,
You know what I mean?
like maybe the stunt guy was just like, dude, I'm not doing this a second time.
Literally.
You got this fat kid though. What can we do about this? What has happened to this archetype of the fat kid who's really annoying in movies like this? You know, there's this just
They got rid of that kid,
right.
seemingly. It's the latest movie that has the annoying fat kid.
Well, maybe they didn't get rid of him. It's just everyone became fat.
That's true, dude. Literally.
Every kid became fat from now on, so it's hard to differentiate now. But
did you have one of those fat kids growing up?
Yeah, like it's funny watching this. I was thinking about some dude from my hometown named Nutty, who wasn't really as annoying, but he would go to the basketball courts every day and just practice free throws, and he would never play.
I like it.
And you couldn't play against him. He would just challenge you in free throw competitions.
I love it, dude. That's awesome. Nutty.
His name is Nutty.
Look at this scene, right? When they're grabbing a bite to eat, I think they sit down and have milk. And it just like depresses me because I'm looking at, it's like a beachside cafe, restaurant or whatever. They're sitting down and then you have all these kids in the background with these arcade games. They're all rocking these graphic t-shirts, like surf t-shirts. And I get super depressed because I'm like, this was society.
Mm-hmm.
What happened to it? We lived in a society.
Yeah. It's this whole movie is a black pill in that sense. It's gone, man. It's gone.
Yeah.
The only way we're getting this back is through extreme, ultimate violence, I guess. But I don't know if you saw, Fenway Park posted this video recently on Twitter of opening day in the 1950s, and everyone was pissed.
I think I did see that, yeah.
They had to shut the comments off because people were just going crazy, being like, what happened to this place? And honestly, the town where I grew up, Orland, was somewhat of a microcosm, without the ocean, of course, but a microcosm of what you're describing in this scene. We had that exact same place, Orland Pizza. And one of the things I like to focus in on is on the menus. They're all physical menus up on top where they change the letters and everything. Now
there's
everything
still some
would
of
be
those around.
Digital or something. It would be like digital displays and all that.
Yeah, but if you find like a mom and pop pizza shop, a small town one, they still have those.
We gotta elevate them to their former glory. Let's do it.
So we get introduced to these bank robbers, right? Whitey, played by David Arg, or whatever his name is. I was mentioning about the opening scene with the police constable looking like Toss Papas. But this dude is about as Australian looking as you could possibly be ever. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
Do you feel that?
Yeah, for sure.
It's like when you see somebody, you're like, I know this dude's Australian. I don't know why, but I just do. This
is the Australian phenotype. It's like a British dude that looks a little bit more masculine or something.
Right.
It's, if you will, if you want to know what this guy looks like, it's Billy Idol, but Australian.
Yeah,
that's his look in this movie.
Oh, yeah. So then you got the other guy, Mustache, and there's this scene where they're ripping around in this boat. And, dude, this boat, we want to talk about Kino. Mm-hmm. It's got Conan the Barbarian painted on the front and like this retro roadster giant chrome engine. Like, is this thing legal to be on the water?
Great question.
Boat was sick.
I've never seen an engine like that on a boat ever before. It's absolutely insane looking, and it's just zipping through the water.
It is going pretty fast. This is custom, and not for nothing. We'll talk about this in a bit, but just the physical stunts that these two actors, Whitey and Mustache, are doing this entire movie, kind of impressive, dude. Like they pull up to the boat dock, and Whitey slips and falls. Basically, could have busted his face open, but they just do this throughout the entire movie.
Yeah,
and respect to that, man. They do a ton of, and they're not crazy stunts, but they're good enough. They're taking some falls in this movie. Respect to that.
And there is a lot of slapstick comedy thrown into this movie.
Yeah.
And you kind of don't know whether this, you're like, no, you look at some of these scenes, you're like, no, that was done not on purpose. That was like them actually almost taking a digger to the face.
Yeah. And like I said, I think this movie was intended to be a little more serious. I don't think it was initially intended to be all jokey and, you know, this kind of goofy with these two characters. But I think I did read something where the director was like, yeah, we had to make it palatable for families to go see. So, yeah, I think it could have been a lot crazier, but I thought it was still good. So I know a lot of people look at this like an 80s cheese BMX movie, but I'll touch on it again. The cinematography is just so good, dude. Like these camera angles, it's like they're shooting, even when you have the chase scenes, right? I don't know if this was big in the time of 1980s, but they mount the camera to the, like, right beside the wheel of the car. You see some directors do that nowadays. I think, like, I can't remember what movie Nolan did it, and it's like, it just looks sick, and it's following them on their bikes. Or plenty of good establishing shots that you have with the nice scenery of Australia. But there's the one where they're coming through the boatyard, and it's tracking Judy, and she's just kind of walking through, and it's tracking her with all this shit in the foreground.
Yep.
It got to the point where I'm just watching this movie, and I'm just watching it for the shots. I'm like, dude, this is some pretty sick, like, cinematography for 1983.
Yeah, for a movie that's, you know, I think a lot of people love this movie and everything, and it's a cult classic and everything, but not a lot of people know about this movie. If you tell them about this, you're like, I have no idea what you're talking about, dude. It's like, dude,
what you talking about?
What you talking about? If you think this movie no one knows about, and this guy just killed it in cinematography. It's crazy because
very impressive.
If you think about what they're doing, there's all these scenes and everything, and this movie should be over in 5 minutes because the car would just run these kids over.
Literally, so many opportunities.
If they actually just showed like a shot from above, it would just be a car running kids over. But so like they have all these different camera shots, and they switch between them, and it creates this whole tension of like these kids getting away just at the last second, almost getting hit by a car, cars speeding up, almost getting behind, you know, it's really well done.
Even to add on to that, it's like they have this, again, a super long scene, maybe over the top, where they're going on the water slide.
Yeah.
And they decide to even get shots behind her helmet, right? You get these POV shots. You have the shots of Mustache flipping around, contorting his body all over the place. It's like, they really leaned into it, dude. They're going down with this camera down this water slide. I'd be curious to know how they shot that, because it's like without destroying the camera.
Right.
But it was impressive, man. They leaned into it. I appreciate that.
Yeah. And this is 1980s, by the way.
Yeah.
There's we talk about it all the time. No CGI and anything in this movie.
Yeah. Well, we'll get into that because there's some real cool practical effects in this. One thing I don't understand is the logistics of these walkie-talkies. Like, I'm sure this is probably people shit on it a lot, but it's like they're on these frequency, and the cops chime in like, this is, and I guess the kids didn't hear it at first, but like, this is a private channel, you know, it's illegal to be on this channel. But then they quickly pan over to these construction guys where they say, all right, go. And they drop the crane drops the thing on the one car. It's like, how are they on these frequencies? Like, I don't know enough about 80s walkie-talkie logistics to know this, but it just seemed a little bit funky.
Yeah, and I think that the whole reason that the bad guys had these walkie-talkies is because, and I don't know what's going on in the 80s with radio technology, but I think at least now there's encrypted channels that cops use, and so you need special police radios to be able to transmit on them and everything. And I don't even know why the bad guys need these walkie-talkies. It's not really fully explained.
That was another thing, dude. It's like they needed them for this heist or whatever.
Yeah.
But it's like, who gives a shit, dude? Just get new walkie-talkies.
They do.
I don't know if it was to hear the police.
They spend like 5 seconds explaining it, and it has something to do with the car that they're going to steal, with all the money in it being radio controlled. But I don't know why that has to do with these walkie-talkies. I don't know why the construction
tech behind
workers
that?
are on the same channel.
Yeah.
It's hard to understand, honestly.
Not explained, not known.
But you mentioned the graveyard scene being too long, and I totally agree with you. It kind of just breaks up this movie. You're like, oh,
yeah,
what's going on here? This scene always freaked me out, though, as a kid.
Yeah, well, that's fair enough.
I'm seeing it when I'm super young, and these guys are...
How old are you?
Like, literally 3, 4.
Damn.
And I remember it being scary. And then also, I remember, even as a kid, I'm thinking to myself, Goose, what are you doing here, bud? Getting rejected hard. It's almost cringe watching it. It's so bad.
It is kind of cringe.
It's just like he takes it right in stride. But then he just blames PJ because PJ is better looking than him. And then they just laugh it off and kind of just keep going.
Literally. That's it. Yeah, as you mentioned about the scary part of this, and you were 3 or 4 years old, it kind of gives me pause because my daughter's almost 5, and I won't even let her watch like the scary part of this. I don't know, you're probably not familiar with it, but that K-pop Demon Hunter movie that's popular.
Yeah.
There's like 2 mildly scary scenes, and I just fast forward it. Like, I'm not even letting her see anything. I'm a horrible
dude. That
I don't know. I just wanted to have nightmares.
Didn't apply to me as a kid.
I'm a big scaredy cat.
I'm just watching crazy shit when I'm a kid.
Yeah, I was a big scaredy cat, man.
They get the money together from selling a couple of these walkie-talkies. They buy some new bikes, including some incredible BMX Bandits branded uniforms.
Yes, dude. Yes. You got they have the blue, the yellow, and the red. Incredible.
And first off, I need one of these uniforms right now, current day. I need to rebuild.
How much do you think they go for?
It's a great question. I was looking it up online. I didn't see a perfect...
I'm looking it up now.
I didn't see a perfect one-to-one replication shirt.
Yeah, you get some shitty like reprint of it for like $25, but it probably is ass.
I need the actual uniform. I need the
That's the thing, dude.
One.
I see something. I got this reprint of the Gleaming the Cube, but it's like the Japan release t-shirt. It's actually kind of sick, but it's like impossible to get. Because then it's like, I think I've even talked about it before on this podcast, but you get like an actual retro t-shirt, like a vintage one. And dude, these idiots are buying them for like $500, $600 for a t-shirt. It's like you have no chance of getting it. It's like these trust fund kids just buy these t-shirts. Like, dude, look, it's vintage.
You see that a lot in wrestling. Like vintage, original Stone Cold t-shirts, right?
316.
Austin 316. But yeah, so Judy gets her own bike though now, and it just cuts to this montage of her doing BMX tricks.
Those are the only real tricks in the movie, dude. When you think about it,
there's not a lot of actual BMX tricks in this movie. This is like the biggest display of actual tricks is her doing this stuff. She's going off a quarter pipe. She's doing some turning the handlebars backwards and all that jazz. Not really a lot though in this movie, but it's set to this song, I See Boys by Petra Gaffney. Absolute just 80s overload. I love this scene.
Oh yeah. Great scene. In fact, the person who did the stunt double was a boy. And he had to wear, because obviously she's 5'11", so they had to get some dude to do it. And apparently they were shitting on him, like making fun of him the whole time when he was standing around on set waiting for his scenes. He was like super insecure about it. So that kind of sucks, but hopefully he was paid well. But you mentioned earlier about the practical effects for CGI, which obviously we talk about every episode. But the fact is, this is 1983, right? CGI doesn't come out like in droves until the 90s, or at least starting out. So the car that they blow up in the construction yard, we talk about it all the time. Practical effects versus CGI. The untrained eye can see. How great is this explosion?
It's fantastic. It's way bigger than it has to be.
Yeah.
Like, real explosions, real ones.
They nuked it.
They just nuked this. Yeah, this car has a nuclear bomb in it and it just goes off. Like, real explosions in movies are so awesome. They're always so much bigger than what they have to be. And thinking in my mind, another Australian movie, Mad Max 2, and they blow up the base that they're trying to get into the whole movie.
Yeah.
they'd blow the whole thing up, and the explosion on film is so goddamn big that you're like, did anyone die in this?
Dude, I totally forgot that was an Australian movie. But yeah, it's you think about, and we're going to cover, it's like a guilty pleasure of mine, Waterworld.
Yeah.
Costner. It's like, just think about that. That was one of those that there's a ton of YouTube videos on, like production hell. That was apparently insane because they shot the whole thing on water. We'll cover that one day, but that's such a good movie. But it's like, you think about those explosions and it's like, they actually had real pyrotechnics on these sets as opposed to what they have now. And you can see it, man. I hate to beat a dead horse, but it's so obvious. It's so obvious. Well, I'd rather have them be cheesy, over the top, and like unbelievable, but real, as opposed to CGI. Like, oh, that's fucking corny.
Yeah, because it just looks better. Like it doesn't trick your eye. There's also a ton of shots in this movie where cars are crashing into stuff.
Yeah.
And you're like, wow, that is impressive, the amount of coordination that it took to do all that stuff.
Oh, yeah. Yep.
So Judy gets confronted by Whitey and Mustache in this warehouse where they're keeping the walkies. She secretly turns her walkie on, and now Goose and PJ hear her in trouble, come rushing to her aid, right?
Yeah.
And right at this point in the movie, everything turns into this just long chase. The rest of the movie is a chase movie. It's kind of crazy how it works. You're this vague, what is a BMX movie? I don't even know what that means, right? Like, is it a movie about one long BMX race, like Rad, right? I don't know what a BMX movie is. So they're taking this idea of BMX riders, right? And using that as the basis, which is really a heist / chase movie.
Right. I don't know, man. I guess that's why. Well, I don't know, because like I said, I love Gleaming the Cube, and as we mentioned before, that's a Vietnam.
It's a Vietnam movie.
It's an underlying Vietnam movie. That's why we have this like crazy Vietnam listening group that we have on this podcast. But yeah, I mean, that was one that I watched as a kid because like the lifestyle, it like gave you an insight to like the lifestyle of like a skater. You know what I mean? Kind of thing. But at the end of the day, it was a murder mystery. Right?
Exactly.
And you have to solve the mystery. So like that, to me, if it's done really well, like this is over the top. So it's like that one's more serious. So I think they wanted to do a BMX movie, but like, how can we sell it? And then at the last minute, they kind of changed the script a little bit on this one. I could be wrong, but yeah, I mean, I would like to see a 90s version of this movie that was just all about like the lifestyle of BMXing. That would be cool. Maybe that exists.
I mean, it's kind of like Rad, but
yeah,
the premise of Rad is basically they're doing this BMX. The thing about Rad that's funny is that it's kind of like the Karate Kid, where they take this thing like karate or BMX and they make it so that it's popular.
Yeah.
When it's not, it never is. So it's, how do you make a movie out of any of this stuff? It's hard. So they decide to make a movie out of something else. The real movie is a heist / chase, and they use BMX as the way to move the movie forward and everything. But
simple as. Yeah.
So Judy, I started cracking up at this part in the movie. I'm like, this is actually like way more intense and insane than I remember. Judy runs to the edge of the dock to get away and jumps in a boat only to find out the rope is still tied to the dock. PJ comes flying.
That was actually kind of funny.
This is crazy. Like, he comes flying down the dock with this pole that he has, and Goose has a fire extinguisher, and Whitey and Mustache just start pretending to do a karate stance, like out of nowhere. Why are they doing that? And then,
because it was like their final, like that's like their final stand. Like, all right, whatever, we'll just do karate.
Yeah,
because they're pretending to be cops, and they're like, stop, and they have to like just last like ditch effort. We're just gonna pretend to do karate.
Okay, we got to get serious. Put our karate stance on. Yeah, and like Whitey just jumps in the water to avoid the pole, and it has this flying close up to Goose, who just starts spraying Mustache with fire extinguisher. But the close up goes right up to his face, and I'm like, it happened so fast that it actually made me laugh how like, crazy it was. Like
hypercut.
this is kind of, I was like, this is kind of funny. Immediately cuts to them just pelting them in the water with these wooden boxes.
Yeah, dude.
And I'm like, actual wood though, right? They're launching it at these guys' hands and heads. I'm like, they're gonna kill these guys.
Mm-hmm.
Like, whoa,
it's like I mentioned before. It's like, yeah, these guys. All respect to these two actors who play Whitey and Mustache. It's like they had it's a fairly physical, demanding movie for them, right?
Yeah.
So, and they sold it. And like I said, the fact they shot this in 41 days means that they nailed their scenes, but they nailed all this physicality to it, which is, to me, impressive.
Yeah, absolutely. And I feel like there is this expectation, like you were saying earlier, that, we have to do a kids movie, right? But this does have really dark undertones in this, and it's like another 80s movie that's dark and gritty.
Yeah, they tried.
Right? And it's like, are they going to kill these kids if they actually catch them?
That's literally, dude, going on in my brain the entire time. Like, why did they just kill him?
Mustache has threatened these kids multiple times. He keeps saying he's looking to murder someone. You're like, what? Excuse me, dude?
He even says to Whitey something to the effect of like, she's not going to be able to tell anyone. It doesn't matter if she sees our face.
Right.
It's like the second time.
Yes.
When he brings it up. So it's like, all right.
And I just remember, like,
dark pretty quick.
Like, I saw this movie when I was really young and recommended my neighbor's dad, like I said, but I also saw Predator when I was 5, like on a random afternoon, dude. In the 80s and 90s, your dad would just sit you down and watch something like Terminator and have no problem at all. Like, like what happened?
What happened? I don't know, because here I am, the dad who's not even letting my 4-year-old watch like the most PG scary scenes in a movie. Because I don't know, man, I don't want to get nightmares. Then it's like I got to wake up and, out of my sleep and help her through this nightmare thing. So I don't know. Your dad was like, I don't give a shit.
Like, zero fucks.
You're a former BMX Chad, as we were mentioning. What are your thoughts on the tricks throughout this movie? I mean, are they believable? Is this like an 80s style? Because you think about in Gleaming the Cube, the tricks that Rodney Mullen's doing as his body double, they're completely different than the tricks of what's going on now. So this is kind of, I had the expectation of something different. I see some of these like old school bike tricks. I'm like, this isn't what they're doing now.
Yeah, they're not really doing.
I saw when I was growing up.
They're not really doing much tricks in this movie. A lot of it's just
riding
fast, just escaping these guys, just going real fast, going through different environments,
ramps and stuff. Yeah.
And one of the the only thing that I really learned was once you learn how to jump on a bike, you could just go anywhere. There's nothing stopping you. Like any kind of thing stopping you in front of you, you could just jump over it. And that's what they do a lot in this movie.
Yeah.
But these chase scenes, dude, they're just phenomenal. The constant back and forth, like we said, the camera angles and everything. The random things just thrown in, like Goose in the middle of a rugby game. He just zips through this rugby game.
Dude. Yeah. He gets the ball, and then I don't know why, I was keeping an eye on the rugby players. And at the very end, this dude could easily just wipe him out on the bike, and he just dives forward alongside him.
Yeah.
Bro, he could have reshot that. It was so awkward looking. But yeah, it's so dumb.
Also, the score while these chases are going on.
Dude.
It's so phenomenal. It just amps you up so much.
Mm-hmm.
Like right when they go into that warehouse and it changes, it gets a little bit more intense. And now the flavor of the scene changes, where now things are a little bit more dangerous. It turned, it got a little bit more intense. And I just love that. Just beautiful score work.
Hey, man, you could not have a movie without, I say this all the time. It's like the score, the soundtrack are so pivotal to a movie. It's like even just the quiet, subtle sounds, right? It's just so important. You can't, take that for granted.
And so this cracked me up, this scene. They go into the police station because they finally are just turning themselves in for stealing these walkie-talkies and just crashing through half of the town trying to get away from these guys. And I love how they just sit down with the sergeant, and the sergeant basically just lets them go.
I know. I was watching that. I'm like, what?
Like,
so good.
Well, if you guys promise not to do this kind of stuff again.
Right. We promise.
We promise. He's like, you caused all this damage to the property and everything. But listen, we need you to help catch the bad guys. Anywho, just get out of here. It's like, what? This scene's so crazy. And I refuse to believe that this would happen today.
Well, absolutely not. Yeah, they'd be arrested. But he does give them the ultimatum of like helping them figure out who the bad guys are because they're the ones who know what they look like.
Yeah.
So to be fair, not a big plot hole.
But it's like, how are they going to help?
Yeah.
You're like,
they can identify them. They know who the guys are. You don't have CCTV back then, bro.
Yeah, it's true. It's true. They had to do actual, real detective work.
Detective work. And Sarge is not a true detective.
Not really.
But dude, they have Judy in the car, and probably the most insane thing in this movie occurs. I don't know if you caught this, but they're driving by, and this 12-year-old blonde kid is sitting on the ledge, and he's like, Unit 1 to base, Unit 1 to base. He sounds like this 40-year-old dude dubbed the line, and this child is lip syncing it. Did you catch that?
Yeah.
Go back and watch this scene. I'm watching this. I played it back like 7 times, and I'm thinking to myself, why not just have this kid do the line? Because if you look close, it doesn't match up to it. So obviously it was dubbed, but why? It's just so weird. I like heard it. I'm like, what was that? And I played it back. I'm like, what in God's name is happening?
Dude, I can only think of 2
Go back and watch it.
One, Australians are just built different, so their voices just
literally. Maybe it is legit.
Or
maybe it is.
This kid's Australian accent was just so insane that they determined that no one would be able to understand it, so they just dubbed over him.
Both strong possibilities. Well, to be fair, if you listen to Goose's voice, he's got a pretty deep voice for a scrawny 14, 16-year-old kid.
It's true.
He's got a pretty deep voice. Go back and listen to it. It's pretty wild.
They didn't poison the water down there.
Exactly.
Ultimate kid fantasy in this next scene, though, is taking down the bad guys who have guns, by the way, by swarming them with flour. And it's like, sign of a good movie. They take the time to just explain everything that wouldn't make sense. And case in point, like the boss is like, let me go get the shooters. Goes over to get the guns out of this trunk. And Judy sees this, slams the trunk shut, and then throws away the keys so now it's locked. And I'm like, that takes only a couple seconds, but it explains why these bad guys don't just blast all these kids who they see coming a mile away down this long street.
That's all it takes. Imagine that. Can't do it.
Yeah, that's one of those things. Like if the kids just went down and just assaulted these guys, you'd be like, well, why didn't they just shoot them? But they take the 5 seconds to explain it. Thank God.
That's it.
So then they chase the bad guys on their truck, right? The boss, Mustache Whitey, and Judy, who they captured. They jump in the truck and zip away. And then Goose and PJ just go try to chase them down and everything. And the truck crashes into a foam dispenser. The cops show up. Benny Hill starts playing. And the bad guys get arrested.
Yeah, that's it.
And then the scene cuts to the all-time credits scene. I love it. It just zooms out. Now it's like manly BMX track. They got the BMX track now. And it shows Goose, PJ, Judy all competing, getting medals with the song Ready to Fly by The Papers playing in the background with the credits rolling. It's an all-time end to the movie.
Wrapped up nicely with a bow on top. End of movie.
If you could imagine for a moment being a kid, seeing this in the movie theater, seeing that ending, you would be so jazzed to go home and start.
Yeah, I would just go up. Literally. Can we stop on the way home and get in a BMX bike, Mom?
100%.
Yeah. So good.
Anyway, your Kino rating, sir.
Yeah, dude. This is a solid 7.8 for me. I would say that's a good number. Very nostalgic, even though, like I said, it was a little bit before our time, this like 80s retro style. But just reminds you, like I said, how awesome it was to be a kid. Again, cinematography is paramount here. I think just the way they shot it was incredible. It's like, you think about, they must have moved the camera 1,000 times because they quick cut a ton of times in this movie. And then you think about all the bits that they cut as well, right? The footage they didn't even use. So it's like they moved this camera in 41 days, quite a bit. Very impressive. And just like the respect to this director having the vision of like where he wanted each of those shots.
Yes.
And just like I said, the shit in the foreground, like just a lot of distracting stuff to kind of set the scene. Just very impressive. I was very impressed.
Yeah.
And the sets were awesome. Like the crash scenes, like you had mentioned, they got this car and it progressively gets dirtier and dirtier and banged up. Like all practical effects. Just all it looks really, really good, really believable. But yeah, and it's a goofy movie, but super fun. So I'll give it a solid 7.8. You? Yeah,
dude. I gave this movie an 8. I mean, this is extremely nostalgic movie for me. But let's just set that aside for a second. I agree. You covered all the points that I was gonna say in what you just said, and I just want to say though, like this movie has no business going this hard. You know what I mean, dude? Like this director just went ballistic with this movie that is a cult movie that not many people know about, and it's a shame.
Yeah.
Like this director needs more wide praise for being this just madman.
Well, I think that, like I'd mentioned before, dude, if he could have not went for the sales of this movie and not made it as goofy and maybe peeled back a little bit on the storyline of it being this robbery.
Yeah.
It could have been super sick. But that's just me being selfish. Like if it was just a BMX movie, right? Where it's just like the lifestyle of like that BMX back in the day. I would watch that for an hour and a half easily, but it was still really good.
You're right. But I do want to say though, like some of the goofy stuff is well done too. Like there's all this slapstick humor from Whitey and Mustache, and it's like, it's really well done.
It's entertaining. Yeah. It's entertaining for sure.
The dialogue in this movie is really well done. I should say, this movie is just way better than what it seems like on the cover.
I think so. Yeah, it's good. It's a good movie. No question about it. Folks, if you haven't seen it, BMX Bandits.
What do we have next week, sir?
We got Certified Kino. This is my film. I'm not sure if you've even seen this movie. The Rover with Guy Pearce and Robert Pattinson.
I have not yet seen it, but I think you wanted me to see this, and I haven't yet. So this is a real doozy.
This is, I don't even know the coming out of Robert Pattinson breaking away from, what's that shit called? The show,
Twilight?
The movie that he did, Twilight. This is him going super hard, showing just range as an actor. And then obviously Guy Pearce is, man, this is the first Guy Pearce movie we're doing. He's in the Hall of Fame.
He's up there.
About that.
Rushmore guy. He's a Rushmore guy.
Yep. Folks, appreciate you listening. Please give us subscribe and like our content. Share it if you can. Thank you so much. Till then, get you on the next one.